sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Another beautiful Santa Barbara morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. You have just landed on Teen Sports Radio. We don't have any time to spare because we have a student kind of doing a little breakaway. We've got 5 minutes to share what's going on. We got Sam Russell, a co-host now in his fourth year. He's a senior at Santa Barbara High. This is totally perfect because for the last few weeks, we've been doing a lot of history on Santa Barbara High to continue today. So he's moved off the behind. He used to be had a great relationship with the pitcher as a catcher, but now he's moved to first base. Sam Russell, what's going on?
How you doing, Erica?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We had a game against San Marcos yesterday, our first league game against them, and we beat them 1-0.
Woo!
Nice. 2-0 in league.
Yeah, I hear you fly on the bags. You like to steal those bases. How'd you do that day?
Against San Marcos, I did good. I had 2 stolen bases. I stole second, and then I stole third.
Nice. You go in head first, or you do the stand up and you slide and stand because you're so fast. You might as well just you do a selfie. How is that?
I go head first most of the time when I'm stealing.
Yeah.
But if the ball's hit into play, I'll most of the time go feet first.
Sweet. So talk about your team a little bit. Where do you think we're going to end up? Playoffs for sure, but how about deeper? What do you think?
We're really hoping to defend Channel League this year. That's the ultimate goal. And we have 2 really good pitchers who pitched against SM and threw a one-hitter, Juan Perez and Eric Elizalde. They were really good. And we have a super solid outfield. Our outfield's really good. We have Oliver McGibbon and Wyatt Hastings out there. And they're just roaming all of the outfield, doing really great. And then we have a super solid
collectively, you've come together this year because, you do have a newer coach. And how's that working out?
Yeah. He's bringing us all together and uniting us, and we have a super young team this year, a lot of first year varsity kids, but we're all pulling together and making it happen.
Nice. And I hear Pintard was out there yesterday doing the pre-scout.
Yes, ma'am. We all saw him out there yesterday.
Of course. Nice.
Yeah.
So, and a little bird told me you got a text from a coach. Who's that?
Yeah, after the game, the head coach from City College texted me.
Nice. Well, he knows talent. So, hey, yes, can I count on you to pop in, every few weeks to give us a heads up in Santa Barbara baseball?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We play DP later this week, so I'll definitely keep you guys updated.
Nice. You're in spirit. You're my boy. Okay. We've worked in the cages a couple times together. You're a killer. I love you. Okay. Just baseball is probably one of the greatest games because, you can do something horribly and only out of the 3 swings you get, you only do it once, but that gets you in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's the most rewarding game for the biggest failures. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, in basketball, if you miss 2 out of 3 shots, you're on the bench, right? Baseball,
yeah.
If you make 1 and 3, you're in the Hall of Fame.
That's
so
true.
Keep the grades up. Don, anybody have any questions? Because he's got to go. He's got to go to class.
What's your plan? So you're a senior now. What's your plan with baseball going forward?
I'm probably planning on going to City College after this year, unless some college gives me an offer, then I'll probably take that and go there.
Sweet. So we'll get to enjoy more of you for longer in town.
That's it. He's going to be fun. He's going to be, I'm looking forward to that's the road my son took. And at the end of the day, he graduated tops in his class at Holy Names. So he did the CC first, get the grades, grow, get big, get strong. Your body's still growing until you're like 25, 26. So it's a good place for you, I think. I've always thought that.
Thank
All right.
you.
Deb, get back to class. All right. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks for the update, Sam.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Erica. Have a good one.
You're a co-host, dude. He's not letting me go. I'm not going to let you go. Yeah, 4 years now. It's fun. They grow up so fast. Don't
They do.
Don't you remember him when he first came in? He was just hardly even spoke.
But we stress student athletes, student first.
Yeah. Well, it's great resume stuff. So if there's any kids out there that want to do a little bit of broadcasting, learn the business, we've got a couple of success stories. One, Leo Schneider ended up at Cornell and ended up doing all the basketball games for Cornell. Yep. He was on the show for 4 years.
Josie McCoy is now a CIA agent.
Interpol.
Interpol. Beg your pardon.
Careful. Can't even say that, maybe. I'm not even sure. But yeah, she started every single Tuesday, that whole line thing.
Yes.
And then Tommy Ijen, who's the first boy on the show, he's now teaching at Bishop Diego High School. So
I attended
Chapman.
Yep.
So, and the list goes on and on and on. So again, if anybody out there wants to look forward to an opportunity, we would love to have you. This is what we try to do: is
nonprofit hours
all day. All right, so let's get into business here. We've got Anthony Rodriguez, and he's he's showing me his watch too. Everybody's rushing me today. Okay, what's this rushy? All right, Anthony, I know you got a meeting to go to, but what you have to say is very important. Okay, so let's review. We're doing the earthquake kit because we got to put that off our bucket list.
Earthquake preparedness
for COVID. Okay, and you've already given us 4 things I have checked off, and I know for sure Christine Marie has also checked off her 4 to-dos. So what else do we got?
So what were your 4 to-dos? What did you do? What did you accomplish?
Okay. We bought water. We have a gallon of water for each person for 5 days. Okay. And we're not storing it on the ground. We have it up off the cement floor. And then we also set up a rotation so that every week we use up some of it and replace it with new bottles.
I went out personally and labeled the electric box. So I know where all the little switches and everything is, because that wasn't done, and everybody used to love. Well, we have a student. He used to love it.
Just turn
it off and turn it on. I didn't know which was which, right?
Not good.
So yeah, that was an good experience.
And numbered the electrical box,
right? And then I think what Christine did is I think she met with everybody as far as knowing where everything was, how to turn off. Well, and like you said, as you.
She's in an apartment
complex. So, yeah. Do not necessarily turn off the gas because to kick it back on, that would be a good thing. And then, of course, there's small denominations of monies, not enough to get back for a month, but at least you have, why would I want to pay $10 for a bottle of water, right? If everything
or even $100.
Exactly right. Yeah, right. So what do we have? What else do we have?
Well, another thing that you should think about is where you can have your kids. You should have one at your workplace. You should have one at home, and you should have one in your car. Right. A lot of us do a lot of traveling, driving on the road. So if you're someone that drives a lot, make sure that your car's in good condition. Your tires are in good condition. You have a backup supply of some little fuses just in case some lights go out. In case it's a hot day, you're going to need your air conditioning. If it's a cold day, or you're going to need your heater, things like that. Again, you also need to have some water in your vehicle, a change of clothes in your vehicle. And it's always good to have these little tools. They're small little tools that you can break the window just in case you have to get out of your car. And also it also comes with a little knife to cut your seatbelt. If anything happens, you're in an accident and something like that, you flip over, you can go ahead and take off your seatbelt. Yes.
There's a company in town called Rescue Me, and they sell that gadget. They manufacture and sell that gadget that gets you out of your car and can also break your window. And it works really well. So if you don't have a gadget, it's a little gadget that can hang on your keychain, and it's produced by Rescue Me.
Yeah, and those are really, really great to have. I mean, you never know when you're going to need it. Another thing to think about is make sure you have your car charger or, backup battery power for your phone. Don't forget the cord. A lot of people, including myself, I'll be one of the biggest ones. I always forget my cord. Make sure you have your cord with you. And then if it's cold, make sure you have a blanket in there. Well, either way, you have a blanket in there. Toilet paper. Never forget your toilet paper. Very, 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 very important. hand sanitizer, so you guys can be cleaning your hands consistently. And if you have a bucket, you can actually put all those items into a bucket, and you can buy a little cover for the bucket that's actually a toilet seat. So that comes in handy. So those are really important things to think about, because if you're a person that travels, you always want to do that. Have a list of phone numbers printed in your vehicle, because if our phones go out, we need to be able to have those phone numbers, and make sure you have your car insurance and vice versa all saved up in the backup drive. So there you go.
There's her little book.
There's my little book. Yay! I did do that.
And then also too, when you think about that, you always want to make sure you have a pen, a marker, and paper. And hopefully the paper that you have is the ones that you can actually write on and it doesn't erase. Sometimes there's other ones that do, but love the kitty, by the way.
So stupid. I mean, she rules the house. So.
But yeah, so those are important things. If you're CPR certified, that's great. Make sure you have all your PPE. If you're not, I suggest go out and take a class, or take a cert class, or even a LISTOS class. But get yourselves aware of what can happen in our community, which is a lot. Be aware of your surroundings. Know where you live. Do you have an earthquake plan? Do you have a flood plan? Those are all things that we really need to start thinking about ahead of time to reduce the stress and the impact when something really happens. So even though everyone says, plan. Yeah, go ahead.
When's your next CERT class, Anthony?
The next CERT class is coming up in May. And that's going to be here from the Food Bank of Santa Barbara County. We're going to be hosting it for the community and also for CERT graduates already. So yeah, I'll be.
Will it be in person or online?
It's going to be both. It's going to be both, because to be able to get certified, you have to do hands-on training. So yeah, and everything. A lot of people are getting vaccinated, so it's helping out a lot. But either way, it doesn't matter. If anybody wants to take a class, I really recommend it. I mean, it's skills that you need for the rest of your life. I mean, you never know when you're going to need it, literally. And with these classes, it also makes you think outside the box, which is really important. Just because you don't see anything that you feel that is important, you never know. If something happens, I'm going to break down that door and I'm going to carry somebody out and go at that door, or I'm going to use my chair to roll somebody out if they're injured. With my books, I can go ahead and split an arm, split a leg if somebody's injured. So those are things that we really need to think about, is what we have.
Yeah, can you imagine if a large part of our community was CERT trained? We would be so much safer.
It would be amazing. It really, really would. We're lucky at Santa Barbara County because a lot of what the state is doing is replicated from our team here in Santa Barbara, which we're really grateful for. I'm the co-chair of our committee. Next year I'll be the chair, but it's all our emergency managers, which a lot of people don't know. All our emergency managers here in our county, we have an awesome relationship with each other. We communicate with each other. We call each other on the cell phones, text each other. It's very rare that you have that strong of an emergency management team as a whole, as a team. And, I honestly got to say, I've never worked with a team like this. You go to LA.
Can you give shout outs?
I'm sorry?
Anthony, can you give some shout outs to some of your teammates?
Oh, I'd be happy to, especially Kelly Hubbard. I definitely want to give a big shout out to Kelly Hubbard. She's our director of the Office of Emergency Management. She is amazing, just amazing. Her team is amazing. Everybody from Emergency Management, Dr. Vando Reynoso, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Very blessed to have you, and thank you for including me on your team. And all our CERT volunteers, all our CERT team members, LISTOS team members. As we all know, we're all in this together. And the only way that we're going to get through it is together. And whatever skills that we have, we bring something new to the table. And I suggest that everybody do a little bit of the same. And we'll get through this. I mean, there's disasters happen at any time. So the more you're ready, the better prepared that we'll all be as a community.
So if families wanted to do it, we have a lot of teen athletes. We have a lot of families, all age groups. What is the age?
You know what? Disaster preparedness, let me tell you, I'll give you a quick story. We had a CERT class and only 5 people showed up, right? But these 5 people were all from the same family. We're not going to stop the class. We're going to train this class. But they also had I think he was 5 years old. Okay. This 5-year-old was doing the exercises with us. Daddy, lay down. And he'd be like this. You know, you do the head tilt chin lift, you know, opening up the dad's airway. You know, we even got him a little vest. Well, the vest was bigger than him, but he put on his vest and, you know, he would go at it and he would check our arms and he'd look to see if anybody was breathing. I mean, so that's the thing about with kids. Do these things with your kids. Show me the disaster preparedness plan. Why? Because they're going to love it. They're going to have fun with it. You have to make it exciting for them to want to do it. And if you do, I guarantee you it'll save a life without a doubt. There's no doubt. And it's a lot of fun.
I got shivers.
I got shivers too.
Yeah. Bring your kids, families. Let's
make it a family event. Anthony, you're going to give us that information. I will pass it around to all the schools that we have relationships with. We'll get the word out. May's coming up. May's right here. So
May's right around the corner.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anthony. You can stick around, but I know you have a meeting. God bless you. We're going to take a little break. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We're going to be with Ed Langlow right after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m. Okay, Ed Langlow is continuing his history with Santa Barbara High. Looking so forward to what you dug up for us today. Ed, what's up?
Very good. If only I'd known as a mentor's moment with the teens with us remotely, as well as those listening in on the radio. Today's segment is Santa Barbara High in 1958, a story of perseverance. My brother played football for Santa Barbara High in 58, and when he loaned me a scrapbook, I was pretty sure there wouldn't be enough material for a segment. But the first thing I picked up was a souvenir program. I was wrong. That program gave me everything I needed. The cover of the program read, November 14th, 1958, Antelope Valley versus Santa Barbara, celebrating 50 years of Dons football. If only I had known the meager beginning of the Dons football team. On October 31st, 1908, the newly formed Santa Barbara High School Dons had ventured down to Los Angeles for their first ever football game against Redlands. They would lose that first game 43-0. Our hometown team would play 4 more games that year, losing 3, tying 1. No wins. But I was surprised to read that they weren't playing American football. It was English football, rugby. Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, but, maybe for that era, that was the game they played. That was called football. But in 1915, they switched to American-style football and continued to persevere. In 1917, playing American football, they would experience their worst beating ever, losing to Long Beach 106-0. Things couldn't get much more discouraging, but with determination, they kept coming out on the field. And my takeaway for the teens for this week's presentation is to learn perseverance. Perseverance is said to be the key to success. I kind of like to call it the foundation of success because it's more of an ingredient in a recipe. Up until 1923, the high school was located at the corner of De La Vina and West Anapamu. In 1924, the campus was moved to the present location at 700 East Anapamu. And with the generosity of one of the school board members, they would have their own athletic field to practice on, Peabody Stadium. The board member was Frederick Forrest Peabody, founder of the Arrow Shirt and Collar Company. Peabody knew the life lessons that sports could instill in a teenager. There's no time for whining. Get up, dust yourself off, and get back in the game. So the wealthy businessman put the funds up for a much-needed practice field. Mr. Peabody passed away in 1927, but not before another benevolent act. Donated land for a grammar school. In 1928, there you go. In 1928, a 6-room, school would open at the site of today's Peabody Charter School. In 1925, a new coach would come to Santa Barbara High, and things were about to change. In 1929, Clarence Schutte had mentored the meager Dons into a winning team, the Golden Tornado. He then led them to their first CIF competition. Then in 1935, it happened. The Dons handed Monrovia a 14-12 defeat in the final game, making them the Southern California CIF champions. This was the beginning of what Twyla Christensen referred to as a tradition of winning. I wasn't too sure about that either, but with the end of the 1938 season, the Schutte men, as they called them then, finished the season undefeated. They capped it off by flogging Covina 13-0, again becoming the CIF champions. They went to the final game in 39, losing to a close contest with Alhambra. Then what I referred to as the comeback of 1940. In the opening game against Oxnard, Doug Spence returned a second half kickoff, 99 yards for a touchdown before trouncing the Yellow Jackets 27-0. They only lost one game that season, but avenged that loss in the CIF finals by routing Whittier 26-0, regaining their position on the podium as CIF champions. By 1958, the Dons had made it to CIF playoffs 21 times.
Wow.
Okay, Twyla, it was a tradition. High school sports are a good place to learn that most things in life worth having require some hard work and tenacity. So the next time you think about giving up, think about the Dons in 1917, 106-0. Get up, dust yourself off, and get back in the game. Promise you this, if you make a tradition of persevering at every worthwhile endeavor you undertake, success will find you. I'm Ed Langlow, and I'll see you next time on If Only I Had Known.
Nice.
Thank you, Ed.
We love the whole history thing and how this has manifested itself organically on the show has been so great because honestly, had no
I did
idea
not know.
that started off playing rugby. I mean, It
Yeah.
only makes sense. You don't really understand how long.
I doubt that very many people knew that.
Yeah, no, that's just really, really, really good chatter. Looking forward to your piece again next week. And what we're going to do is let's take another break. And we have Sierra Boatwright in the house. Hey, Sierra.
Hey.
Yeah. So you want to give us a topic? We got to go to break, but what do you want to? So you're the cliffhanger.
How to not go crazy. How to not go crazy when everything's changing.
Oh, well, that's why you're here, to stop me with all my self-talk. You know what I mean? And give me the little tools and stealing from our kids, because everybody actually is always a little child in spirit, in heart. Let's take a little break. This is Erica Salder, Sierra Boatwright, right after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand, every boy, every girl, and a man.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salder, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m. Nice. All right. Sierra Boatwright in the house. I love the hand signs, Dee. Luckily, I can understand the countdown between 3, 2, and 1. Okay, fantastic. Sierra, what's going on, crazy girl?
Hey, oh, what a beautiful show we're having today. I love it that Sam was here. Hearing the history, even just between the two of you, has coming upness in the show and his, emerging madness as he's moving into his final year of baseball. That was really sweet. And then, of course, Ed Langlow, like, your sets are always so incredible. You do such good research, and your vocal prosody is just magnetic. Like, just want to listen to you tell stories all day long.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing over there, Richard Ellsworth?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good to see you as always.
You too.
You're bringing the nature connection to Teen Sports Radio. But today, I wanted to take a little time to talk about how to not go crazy when everything is changing. All across Santa Barbara, students are going back to school, or they're not going back to school, or they're Zooming, or they're not, or they're hybridizing, or whatever. And I know, as a mom of 5, 2 of whom are still in the primary grades through the 12th, and then 2 who are still in college. It's crazy. So I wanted to take a little bit of time today to just throw down a few tools that everybody can use. And this is for everybody, but especially for our students, how to not go crazy with all of this change. One thing I just wanted is basic, and Richard and I were talking about this, and we were on the show together last time, is the importance of breath. Here on the radio show, we're throwing a lot of information at you, quickly. We are, having our jokes, and we're having a lot of fun. And sometimes it sounds really fast, right? But we all know that one of the best ways to bring ourselves back into center is to just pause and take a nice deep breath, because we're all in this together. Okay, whatever the changes are that are happening for you in your school life, with your families, with all the changes that your parents or your loved ones may be going through, with navigating this transition out of the COVID era, we're all in this together. And here at Teen Sports Radio, we're here to support you. So once a month, I want to jump in here and just give you some tools to help you get through these little bit crazy times. So we're all in this together. And because of that, one of the things that I want you to remember as students and as young people is that you always have a right to ask for what you want and need. Now, this is a skill that maybe you might feel a little bit edgy about, because, we're taught to listen to our elders, to follow direction, to, recognize that people older than us, or people who are in power, usually get to have the say. But when things are changing, that is actually one of the best times to remember that you absolutely have a right to ask for what you want and need. And that could be everything from physical space. Going back to school can be scary. Even if everybody's wearing masks, even if some people are starting to get vaccinated, like, we're still in this together. There's still a lot happening. And so if someone's in your physical space, you absolutely have a right to say, hey, I'm not really comfortable right now. Could you give me a little bit of space? Maybe, teachers are excited to be back with their students. Maybe they're leaning in too close to help you with that math assignment. You absolutely have a right to ask for a little bit more physical space if that's what makes you comfortable. It might even be requesting a little more time on an assignment. With all of the transitions happening, changing those gears and getting back to in-person learning can bring up a lot of anxiety for people. It can bring a lot of overwhelm. If you need a little more time on something, go to your teacher and ask them. Either email them if you need to, if the in-person is a little too uncomfortable, send an email, go to your academic counselor, say, hey, like, I'm really struggling to keep my head above water here with all these changes. I could use an extra week to get that paper done. Could I do some extra credit to make up for, that test grade? I didn't do so great. I didn't sleep great the night before. Ask for what you need and want. It could also be you need a little more support. Who can you turn to get that support? Is it a trusted friend? Is it your academic counselor? Is it the school therapist? Find the people who have the support that you need to help you get through this time, and ask for what you want and need. Some people don't know how to ask. Some people are uncomfortable. They don't know what the words are. So I'm going to give you a couple of key words that you can use. Might look like this. Hey, I could really use some help with this. Or it could be, hey, could you help me right now? Or it could be, what would really help me is this. You can also make requests to people, knowing that, like, you may not get what you want, but if you phrase it as a request, it'll give people an opportunity to step into that with you and join you in solving this problem. So, my request right now is an extra week on that assignment. So just even having words like that to frame your needs or wants can be very helpful in just alleviating your own anxiety and getting those needs and wants met, because, you have a right to ask for that.
I really like that, because sometimes when people are trying to ask for help, they all of a sudden they flip into demanding. But if you use the word, my request right now is blank, you're being very clear, but you're not demanding. I love it.
Thank you, Richard. So thank you, Dominique. I was responding to Richard's 2-minute signal. Okay, so thank you for that reflection, because going back to the breath, getting centered and grounded before you ever open your mouth to make those requests is one of the best ways to make sure that communication is coming across in a good way. If you think about communication as a ball, we had baseball, earlier in the show. You can throw that ball hard and fast, or you can throw that ball soft and light. And so communication can that way. You can frame that communication in such a way that when that ball passes over to the other person, they can receive it in a good way. They can receive it with calm. They can receive it with the need. They can hear the need in your request, and they can receive that with that sensitivity that you have sent it. So, and then finally, just because I think we have about 1 minute, if you need some support around grounding as you're navigating this challenging time, please take time to be outside. Get your bare feet on the ground, sit on the ground, lay on the ground, lean against a tree. If you can't get outside, if you're trapped in the classroom or you're stuck in a Zoom, look out the window and connect with something. Maybe it's the wind in the trees outside the window. Take a deep breath and move with that just for a moment. It will bring you out of the chatter of your mind and bring you back into your body, bring you back into your environment, and give you a sense of safety and belonging to know that you can go out there and ask for what you want and need, and you absolutely have a right to do that. I'm Sierra Boatwright. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist at Santa Barbara Ecotherapy. I'm here to support you once a month on Teen Sports Radio, and you can find me on the web and on Instagram and Facebook under Santa Barbara Ecotherapy. I'm really happy to be here. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? I'm sure Richard's about to give us the signal.
I actually have a question really fast. I love that the visual connection to keep you back in your body, but would you recommend a mantra?
Can we pick that up after break?
Yeah, we can pick it up, but just also adding in a mantra.
A mantra, it can be as simple as, I am safe. It is okay to ask for my wants and needs. Everyone is in this together. Simple things like that you can just repeat to yourself to help bring that anxiety down.
Love it. Sierra Boatwright, we love you. And I really, honestly, I'm so blessed that you have joined the team on Team Sports Radio. Looking forward to the third Thursday of every single Tuesday moving forward.
How do we even say that? Please send us your questions. Please send us questions or scenarios that you'd like us to address. We'd love to help.
Thank you. God bless you. Let's take another break. Erica Saul, the Queen of Teen, will be back with a lot more after these messages.
Of Brazil, back in the USSR, way down in LA, every day, dancing in the street, crossing China too, me and you, dancing in the street.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Saul, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. Okay. I love these hand signals because, he goes so fast. Way to be, Richard. I don't know if I can handle this. Don Sanders, we're going to skip D, and we're going to go to Don Sanders. Don Sanders, what do you got for us this week?
Well, I had one thing, but Ed Langlow inspired me to go in another direction here. I wanted to give you a little bit more, I wanted to piggyback on what Ed said and give you a little bit more background on the rich tradition of Santa Barbara rugby. And it also, I want to put this out to any young person out there, a young athlete that is struggling with school because sitting in a chair all day just does not feel good. And I also want to put this out to anyone who feels sometimes that they have a desire to learn a sport, but they feel like a fish out of water. Okay, because they don't feel that they have necessarily a natural aptitude, but something about the game fascinates them, so they want to persevere, as Ed said. And then the last time I was here, Ed was talking about how mentors are so important in life and how mentors can really help us if we can let our guard down and let them in to help us. And so when I was in high school, I didn't have a dad or I didn't have brothers. And my mom was the head nurse at the Stanford University Student Health Center. She met a lot of jocks who came to be like surrogate big brothers to me. And one of them got me involved in rugby. And I was playing on a club team with guys who were intern doctors and stockbrokers and lawyers. And they just thought it was a kick that they could still go out on the weekend and play this crazy game of rugby, you know. But there's an international fraternity of rugby. Here, it's kind of like a subculture. Like, you guys probably don't know that in your city in Santa Barbara, there's from the UC Santa Barbara program, there's an old guys team that used to play for the college. There's a youth developmental program in rugby that starts trying to give guys the skills they need to ever play at a high level. And there is a kind of like a team or a club that is actually developing guys to be able to compete at a higher level should they get the chance to go on. And so internationally speaking, there's a lot of people who don't even acknowledge hardly that the United States exists. There was an English pub owner here in Ojai who once his wife brought up to him about United States rugby playing an exhibition in Chicago. And he feigned as if to not even know that the United States had a rugby team. So, in my days of doing it, at first I was driving my car up to San Francisco, the only high school kid on the team 2 times a week. And then I would chase around on the weekends going out to where they played games. And I eventually, playing at UCLA and for a club team also in Santa Monica, was able to I had a shot to go up the ladder towards the guys who get to try out for the national team. I got I got on the county rep side and I was on my way towards the state rep side. And I almost maybe, would have got a shot if we were trying to assemble our national team for a national competition. But if you have YouTube, anybody who's on the computer these days watches videos, go and watch some Rugby World Cup highlights, and you can see it played because they start very, very young. That's why, in Santa Barbara, they've come up with this developmental league, and it's a really, really exciting game. But if this culture, it's kind of like it's under the radar. It's sort of like a subculture. There's a lot of it going on the West Coast, in the Midwest, and in the East Coast, But yeah,
my son attended Santa Cruz University and was on the rugby team in Santa Cruz.
Yeah. When I was at UCLA, we used to come and play the UCSB, we used to come play UC Santa Barbara rugby. And where married student housing is there today, there was a big open field with trees around the end. And we all used to camp out in the trees, and we would go out and have like medieval battles during the day on the pitch. In rugby, they call the field the pitch. We'd meet on the pitch and have these epic battles. And then in the evening, we would get together. And that's a great thing about rugby. Football is sort of like the military. You do your thing and you go home, and you're not supposed to like the other guys. But in rugby, you have a beer and you tell stories and stuff like that. So we would camp out in the trees back in the day and play that fantastic Santa Barbara rugby tournament. So I don't know. That's, like I say, a little bit of obscure history you may not have known about.
That's very interesting. Part of history people don't realize, way back when there were battles like in India and Greek and Roman, the old times. When there was a battle, you honored the heroes of both sides of the field. And especially in India, it talks about it in the Mahabharata. They would get together in the evening and have a meal together with the enemy, because usually the enemy was a cousin or an uncle or somebody, and you just respected their heroics. So rugby continues that tradition.
If after you excuse the expression, knock snot out of each other for 60 minutes on the pitch, then you get together and you have a beer and you sing obscene songs. And so wrestlers will know about a phenomenon called cauliflower ears. When I was young, my ears used to stick out like this, but through enough grinding and so forth in the different phases of rugby, they got very streamlined and thickened along the side of my head. That's called cauliflower.
Not like an MMA fighter, that's for sure.
Boxers know about cauliflower ears, wrestlers. Yeah. So when I was at UCLA and I briefly dated a nurse, she used to get me hypodermic needles. The wrestlers taught me this trick, and I would actually drain my ears at night, hoping that they would stay thin instead of get all thick and fat like they actually did.
Oh God, I have to think about that all day now.
Well, that is fascinating. And there's something about the sport of rugby that makes it also more accessible, perhaps, than football if you're not a big fella and wanting to get munched and crunched.
All right, let's take another little break. We've got Food is Medicine with Dominique Cackett. And then if Richard wants to add a few little details, that's also welcome. Right after these messages.
You're addicted to love.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. I love it, as much work as you have done in the garden, and just to know that all this stuff is good for us, which is super nice, because at the end of the day, food is medicine. So what do you got going in the front?
If you're brand new to gardening, one of the best ways to get started, just simply go to Home Depot or Miners. There are lots of vegetables for sale that you can put in your garden to get started with. And most all of them say non-GMO. And what that means is...
We need to thank Christina at Miners also.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
A beautiful girl at Miners helped us out. We got 3 carts full. She was brilliant. Christina, we love you. I told you I was going to mention you.
Shouts out. So what we have in our garden currently, we have parsley, we have oregano, we've planted some dill. So those are different herbs that we're working with. And I even put in some sweet marjoram. And then we have some small tomato plants, some carrots, beans, cucumbers, peppers, and then we've also planted just a few potatoes. And most importantly, we planted some sunflowers in the very back of the garden so that, they'll be able to grow big and tall and not shade too much. And we do have fennel growing too. Richard, you recently made a delicious meal using fennel. Can you talk about some of the healthy things about fennel?
Sure. Fennel is really best for digestion first and foremost. And what it does is it completely eliminates gas in the stomach and intestinal tract, which is really, really amazing. So sometimes what I'll do if I feel a little gassy or a little crampy, I'll just chew some fennel seeds. But you can also, if you have it growing, and around here it grows wild, you can go up in the mountains or wherever, and or if you're going for a walk, just break off a branch and start chewing on it, and you get all of those incredible enzymes that acts as a carminative. Carminative is the word for substances that eliminate gas in the body. And everything in that fennel anise family will do that for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. So get out there and do a little gardening.
Fantastic. Hey, listen, we're almost concluded another wonderful, amazing segment. Ed has got a quick shout, and then we're going to end it up with Dr. D. Ed, what do you want to say?
Yeah, very quickly. The Elks Lodge every year puts on a fundraiser for our local veterans. It's called Groovin' in the Grove. It's an antique car and vintage travel trailer and classic motorcycle show. This year, we're going to try to put on a modified version because in 2020, we were not able to do it because of COVID. So that July 24th will be the show, and you can go to groovinginthegrove.org, GROOVIN in thegroove.org, go to enter your vehicle and download an application to enter your car in the show. And I'll cover it more in later episodes as we get closer to July 24th.
We had another great show. And thank you, Dominique Hackett, Ed Langlow, Don Sanders, Richard Ellsworth, of course, Sierra Boatwright. We're going to be enjoying her every third Thursday from now on, a new co-host. Thank you, community. Thank you, Santa Barbara. Smile. God bless. See you next week.
You're the best around. You're the best around. Nothing's going